Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hi, my name is Theresa, and this is Sebastian. I'm going to tell you guys about a research project that I'm doing about iguanas, which is what he is, and how they bond with other people, and how this is, I feel, a relevant topic. So to start with, in 2008, my friend's family had a green iguana, which is a different species from this one. He was much larger, it was a male. And as he matured, he became really aggressive, especially towards small children and women. And their family struggled to interact with the iguana and to, even just to feed it and try to get it to establish some kind of connection with them without getting hurt himself or themselves. And I kind of thought that was really harsh for the iguana, because he was showing signs of fear towards them, even though they had never done anything to him at all. But, the other iguanas that they had really good relationships with them. So one day I was at their house and I noticed that the green iguana went and my friend's mom had dropped a t-shirt on the ground on her way to the laundry, and the iguana came up and sniffed it, and then he picked it up and totally shredded like the entire t-shirt. He was shredded. And I guess I kind of figured out then that iguanas do a lot with their sense of smell. Like, I never really thought about, iguanas smelling things, but he associated the smell of the dirty shirt with my friend's mom. So, and then I noticed also that he was afraid of hands. Hands that go to grab you or to move you around or to bring you food or whatever it is that they're doing. It's kind of scary if you're a lizard and somebody's just gonna come up and grab you. It's a bit frightening. So anyway, that was kind of the basis of my research project. In 2001, going a bit farther back, Dr. Jackson invented this device, which is called a Zachy. It's used in neonatal intensive care units around the world to help with premature infants in their development and in their bonding with their mom. The way that it works is that the mom can take it home and sleep with it overnight, and then she brings it back to the hospital the next day and they use it with the baby. If you can see, it has beads inside that can be moved around to adjust the weight, and then you can position it on the baby to hold them and add boundaries and all kinds of other things. And they did a research on it and noticed that the fact that you can scent it actually reduces the pain level in the infants in the hospital, which is really amazing. My mom, the reason I found out about this is my mom is a NICU nurse, and she took care of the lady who invented it. She had a son in the hospital and she took care of him. And then, so that's how that was going. So in 2008, when I thought about the iguanas, my mom was doing a whole lot of work on her research with the Zachy, and she mentioned the scent bonding, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And the fact that it's in the shape of a hand, I thought was a really big deal, because you can take this and put it in a cage with an iguana, and it's shaped like a hand, but when they come up to bite it, there's no reaction. There's no positive reinforcement to the iguana of pulling away. So, they can bite it all they want and nothing happens. And it's there and it smells like their caretaker. If their caretaker, they scent it, they give it to the iguana, and then it's just there, harmless. It's actually pretty soft, and you can warm it up because they're cold-blooded animals, so they would like it because it's warm. So anyway, and also it's washable, which is really awesome because, iguanas and animals and all that. So, so when I started it, I thought about the Zachy and I practiced on their iguana, and it turned out really well. The iguana over a couple of months responded really well to the Zachy, and it made me curious how many iguanas are out there that are, suffering and not able to communicate and have a bond with their caretaker because their caretaker simply doesn't have the tools or the ideas to kind of give them a hand. So anyway, I did some research, and there's actually thousands of iguanas that are seized every year by the state. They're largely overlooked as pets. Most people, I'm sure most of you would, an iguana, this is what you see in a zoo, right? You don't really see people walking around with an iguana anywhere. they're known as a cheap pet. You can go to the pet store and buy one for like $50, which is really cheap in the pet world. And what's even worse is that when you buy it, the pet stores, they're getting better about it now, but they used to tell you that you could just feed it dog food. Like, you can just feed them dog food. And these are vegetarians. They're fed dog food they used to be fed dog food in countries where these are viewed as food items because they bulk up really fast, they grow fast, and then it causes a lot of horrible health problems. So they usually end up dying because of that. But so most of the animals seized by the state are fed dog food, and they end up passing away or having to get put down because they're just so malnourished. Most people don't take them to the vet. They're like, it's a cheap pet, it cost me $50, I'm not going to go spend $1,000 or a couple $100 every year just to take it to the vet and get it looked at. And also, people don't realize that they need sunlight. They keep them in a box. They're like, it's a cool pet, you can just look at him. No, he needs to go outside and get some UVA and UVB rays because actually their bones can grow crooked. There are pictures of iguanas with ribs like bent and everything. And I guess the biggest one of all, which I've already talked about, is that they're really unsocialized. Like, if you have a German Shepherd or any kind of really big dog, or any dog in general, but most people emphasize it with the big dogs, is when they're a puppy, you want to bring him around as many situations and people and animals and everything as possible, so that as he grows older, he'll stay comfortable in any situation and won't react aggressively. The same is true of an iguana. If you bring him to lots of new situations, then he'll see that as normal and he'll actually enjoy it. So, yeah. So far in my research project, I have worked on 7 iguanas, including a potential mating pair. All of the 7 iguanas, well, except for, 4 of the iguanas have been rescues, and they have all shown a noticeable decrease in biting, hiding from people, tail whipping, which is they can take this and literally crack it like a whip, and they could break your fingers if they wanted to. It's crazy. It hurts really bad. And then there's a thing called shutter bobbing. Iguanas, they communicate through like bobbing their head, and when they shutter bob, they go like that, and it's a negative association. And then they also charge, especially male iguanas. Like a bull, they'll just like charge you into the corner if they feel like you're invading their territory. But with use of the Zaki over a couple of months, all of those were definitely decreased. And there was a really big increase in positive interest in people, friendly head bobbing, and also when you take them into new situations, you bring this with them. It's like a security blanket. So even if they're scared of the situation, this is like a constant now in their life, and it really helps them a lot. The reason I chose this was because I felt it was really important. I'm trying to teach people about iguanas because they are capable of feeling pain and distrust. They're really smart, and it takes a long time for them to regain any trust in people. And I always tell this to people, before you buy a pet, please do some research on it. I don't like any kind of breed or whatever, even if you're not into lizards and snakes and stuff, you should do research and figure out how much it's going to cost you, not just to buy it, but for the vet care and the food and everything else that it might possibly cost you. And the iguana that I mentioned earlier, the green iguana that I first worked on, he unfortunately, he ended up dying of an unknown cause. And but before that, he was doing really great with the Zaki. So
thank you. Let's get another comment.